So, we all know that the jump from a 60Hz gaming monitor to a 144Hz gaming monitor is extremely noticeable. But what happens when you go past there? Can you even still notice when you go past 144Hz? And if you can, will normal gamers like me and you even be able to notice? And does it even give that much of an advantage, or is it all just marketing? Well, today we're going well past that 144Hz mark, all the way up to 240Hz, with this LG Ultragear gaming monitor. This is the LG 27GN750. I think I got that right. What is with these monitor names? And if you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, you might notice that this is a very similar looking monitor. In fact, we reviewed another LG Ultragear, which was 144Hz and 1440p a couple of weeks back. And you might be thinking, well, this looks exactly the same. And that's because from the outside, it is pretty much exactly the same. The only difference between these two panels is literally the panels. All of the exterior, even the on-screen menu, is exactly the same. So I'm going to be brushing through all of that part super quickly. If you want to see a more in-depth look of the features that this monitor has sort of on the outside and more in-depth into all of those little features like the stand and the bezels and all of that, I'll link that other video in the card and also in the description because they are literally exactly the same. So it'd just be a waste of both of our times if I go over all of that again. There's no point in doing that. But I will gloss over it super quickly here, just in case you missed that video. So with this monitor, we have a 27-inch flat screen gaming monitor. We've got a pretty decent port selection around the backside of the monitor. We've got a great on-screen display menu with some cool gaming features, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. We do get a stand with this monitor, which can be pulled off with the clip of a button on the back of the monitor. You flip the switch on the back of the monitor and the stand comes right off. And of course, the monitors can be VESA mounted, just like I have right behind me. One thing to note about these monitors was actually one of my biggest gripes in the last video is a large part of the stand and the ring around the backside of the monitor are a bright red. For some reason, well, I do know why, it's because it's the Ultragear colours, but it's a bright red ring around the backside and the stand is bright red. For me, I just didn't like that at all. Doesn't match anything in my setup and I don't really know why they've done that. Luckily the stand came off and you can't really see the ring around the backside though, so it's a win-win for me. But if you are going to be using these on the stand, that's something to keep note of, that there is a lot of red on the stand. So that's kind of the appearance of this monitor out of the way. In terms of this specific monitor, what's different from the other monitor that we talked about? Well, this monitor is 1080p, 240Hz, 1 millisecond response time. So this is a super fast panel. This is a gaming monitor through and through. If you're into those fast-paced FPS games, this could be the monitor for you because this is a really fast, top-notch panel. This monitor does have G-Sync and FreeSync compatibility. So whether you're with AMD or Nvidia, you will be able to have compatible G-Sync or FreeSync, just to reduce the screen tearing when you go up to those high refresh rates. A few other things about this monitor. We do also get the ability to add a crosshair to the screen through the on-screen menu. So you can have a little cross or a little dot, red or green, and you can always turn it off if you're doing something else other than gaming. We can also adjust loads of color settings within the menu. Also in this menu, we have the ability to change the response time. So like I said, this is 1 millisecond response time. It definitely can hit that 1 millisecond response time. But when it comes out of the box, it's actually on a mode called fast, which is around 2 or 3 milliseconds response time. You can change it in the settings to the 1 millisecond response time, which is classed as faster, I think it is, in the on-screen menu. But you do get kind of a little bit of artifacting on those faster moving objects on the screen. So it comes out of the box as fast. I'm just leaving mine on fast because I'm not too bothered about that extra 1 millisecond. But if you are someone who wants the fastest of the fastest, you can always change it. So all of those settings can be changed on the on-screen display, which while we're talking about can be controlled by the joystick in the middle on the bottom of the monitor. This on-screen display is super easy to navigate through, it's super easy to get a hang of. I didn't have any problem trying to navigate through it. So what's the 240Hz all about? Can you actually notice it? Well, to my surprise, in some games I actually could notice it. You've got to bear in mind, if you want a 240Hz monitor, you need a graphics card that is going to be able to push out 240 frames a second. So for most games like Call of Duty, you're going to be getting nowhere near that. Even with my 3070 Ti, I wasn't even able to get near that on Call of Duty with my standard settings. But I did download Valorant, especially for this video, to have a go, try and get in those higher frames, and I was able to get those frames on Valorant using my 3070 Ti, and it was silky smooth. It was great. I was actually able to notice a difference when I switched my monitor down to 144Hz. Played it for a little bit on that, and then I switched up to 240Hz. It was noticeably smoother, but nothing where I felt like, you know, it was giving me a massive advantage or nothing too crazy basically. It wasn't like the same jump from 60 to 144Hz. It wasn't that type of difference. But of course that all does depend on what type of games you play and also if your system can push out those frames. So one thing that I did notice was coming down from 1440p to 1080p. There was like a noticeable difference in resolution, but of course that's not applicable for all of you. If you've always been on 1080p, or if this is your first ever gaming monitor, you're thinking about picking this up, of course that doesn't matter. But I'm not saying this is a bad looking panel. This is an IPS panel, so we do get great colours on this, and we also get great viewing angles. So by no means am I saying that this is a bad looking panel. Your games will still look great on this. So we've got 244Hz, G-Sync or FreeSync. We've got 1 millisecond response time. We've got a super clean looking monitor with minimal bezels around the outside. We've got all of those gaming features like the crosshair and the ability to choose the different colour features. We've got an IPS panel for great viewing angles and great colours. I'd say that that's a pretty compelling package. This comes in for £250 here in the UK, but I will have international links in the description down below if you are interested in pricing for your area. In my opinion, I think £250 is a great deal for this type of feature set. I think you'd be pretty hard pressed to find another monitor for this price point with more features than this. I think this is a pretty good deal. So for me, personally, am I going to be keeping this as my main gaming monitor? No, I'm not going to be keeping it. I'm going to be going back to that 1440p panel. For the type of things and the type of games that I'm doing on my PC, 144Hz and 1440p just suits me better. But if you're into those fast-paced, twitchy FPS games where you need all of the hertz you can get, then of course this could be the monitor for you. If you are interested in taking a look at the other panel which I've been mentioning in this video, I'll have the link to that down below. And if you wouldn't mind letting me know down below, do you think 244Hz is just too much? Do you think 144Hz is just right, or do you need more than that? If you do need more than that, let me know why down below, because for me, I just don't see any point in going above 144. But if you did enjoy the video, if you wouldn't mind dropping a like and maybe hit the subscribe button and drop a comment to help me out in that algorithm, I'd really appreciate that. But that about wraps it up. I really do hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.